Oh, hey guys, sup? Been monkeying around the computer for a long time now, and it's starting to get late. Here's where we're at. Here's where we're at. We're at episode 10. That's what it is. I was dreaming about this stuff. Episode 10. In episode 10, we now have what the cowls wrapped up. We got the jams in. That sheet metal's on. The exterior sheet metal's on, and now we got to just finesse what the door gaps, the exterior door gaps, the door gaps that matter. The door gaps that people see at the car show, those kinds of things. So um, I'm looking at right now the door, trying to establish that 3/16 to quarter inch all the way around the car. At least get it so the doors can adjust to that. Because they have to come off. It's got to be painted and all that. But make sure that we can establish that continuous gap, 3/16 to a quarter of an inch, because why? That's the way people like it. That's the perception. So that never happened in 1929, 1930, 1931, or anything like that when this thing was made, but it needs to happen now. And so that's where we're at. Also, you'll find as I'm moving forward that the hinges work good, but the tops of the doors, because of their height, because they're about 4 foot tall, they have a little bit of a shake. I don't know if I talk about that, but I want to increase the integrity. Don't want to have any rattling, noise, vibration, or harshness. When you're driving down the road with the doors, I want it to be subtle and quiet. And so I make in this video kind of a unique top mount, very, very top of all the doors. I make another hinge, very small, narrow one to follow the main hinge. So I add some additional structure, and then I got to look at my notes here, and then I can't see too well. The body rough end. So we're finishing so the light hither and thither, body rough end to get this thing about ready for sandblasting. That should be coming up here pretty doggone quick, preparing it for sandblasting. So have fun. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, comment, comment. That's how I learn. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And I'm going to bed after this. Hello, hello, hello. Here's what we got to do. Here's where we got to go. Door gaps. This side, done. There's a little bit of, no, this side is wonderful. I made a piece, a door gapping tool. I'm looking for it now. Been using it, and of course, if I've been using it, I set it down. And if I set it down, I never remember where it is. So what I probably should do is stop the video until I find my flippin' gapping tool. Anyway, it's laughable. It's just a piece of 3/16 or 7 gauge. Stainless steel in this case, because it's what I had. I got my 1/4 inch gapping tool right here, but my 7 gauge gapping tool says right on it, gapping tool. But in any regard, it's a piece of 7 gauge plate cut into a square, and I run it, stick it in there, and I can see, this, obviously all this welding shrunk the metal that way, but that door edge now is perfectly straight. You can see where I've had to add material to it. I've added 1/8 of an inch all the way up the door and then sanded her down. I'm working on the rear door. but that's dead straight. So now I'll fill on the jamb side only and slice wherever she starts to. I'll fill it, I'll back it with foam, okay, fill it flush, and then cut out the gap. Got, anyway, that 3/16, that'll be 3/16, and that'll be 3/16, or between 3/16 and a quarter, as straight as I can make it. Same thing here, straight, ready for fill, straight, no fill, that's where the two door edges are, and straight, ready for fill. I have the door bottoms to finish on this. You can see there, it's a little bit of cant in that, it's a little bit of downward taper here, and here I got a little wow in the door. It's a little exaggerated because the door, on film, you can see the door is over the top on both sides and hanging out. So got to get my 1/4 inch I'm going to use there, 1/4 inch clean across, because 1/4 inch is going to allow for a bit more adjustment with the door if I want to go up or down. But you know, we're talking a 1/16 of an inch difference between 3/8, and I really think the bottom should be a 1/4. Anyway, so I'm on this door. I just got done welding on the 1/8 inch rod. Got her dead straight, dead true. And I need to weld the back side of this yet. I can get up underneath it, kinda. It's hard to see, but there's an 1/8 inch rod on there, and then I start shaving the side. And there's where two pieces of rod were welded together. And I'm using this stock. Lisa had gotten this for me from a rummage sale. That's one end, that's the other end, but it's 1/8 inch rod, and it's obviously just been stored for years. Oops, you hit it, you slap it, you can see my slap marks, and he just falls apart. Then I rub it down with this, clean it off, tack it on. Consistent 1/8 inch all the way down. Use a straight edge up against where the rod is going on, so you have a continuous straight line. A couple of magnets sitting like that. Here's a section cut off, moving as you go up and down the door. I think you can understand the concept as you move up and down the door. And just tack, 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 and then come back, tack, 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 and just forever tack, 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 tack until you have a continuous weld. You can see where I plug the hinge here, and a hint of it here, and I'm just cleaning it up, getting it prepped for Bondo, or filler, I should call it filler, and high build 2K primer. So of course after sandblast, but the door gap's got to come before I sandblast, and we're getting very, very, very close to sandblast. I'm almost considering, if I get the door gaps done, I might start an area. I'm thinking the cowl, actually. Start an area, do the inside and outside of the cowl, get that epoxy primed and ready for fill, so I can basically go back and forth, because the doors I'll sandblast off the vehicle. There isn't a lot to sandblast regardless. So once the doors are off, it's pretty simple. The front, the back, and a little bit of the top, and of course the floor will take some time. But then I can come back and scratch it up and start filling. If I do a portion up here, get it clean, get the floor back a little ways, get her all in epoxy, then I can start getting the box liner and the seam sealer on the welds and the box liner on the inside, and start to do some filling on the outside and work back so I can get a little variety in my day, because this has been This has been a monstrous task, but it's coming so close. I'm getting so excited. And also, when it's all said and done, and technically right now I can, but I've got it strapped and leveled on the lift, but I can finally take it off of the lift, put it on rollers, and start to move it around. It is getting exciting for me because shit's lining up and shit's looking good. So all the gaps are coming in where they need to. So I'll keep you posted. I've been gone, so out of town on work. So what's going to happen is my videos are going to start to be farther between, and I may pick up some progress wherever I can on a weeknight that I am in town and not get a video. But I'll try to keep you all up to date with what's going on as much as I can. So excited and it's very satisfied with the results for today. It's been an excellent day, actually, and inching closer to sandblasting and epoxy priming. Oh, and I think I mentioned I got the rain gutters in. Of course, after I sandblast, but before I epoxy, I've got a panel bond that'll go on there, and then I'll temporarily screw it with small sheet metal screws, and then follow it with an 1/8 inch rivet or a 3/16 rivet all the way down on the retainer strip, and then snap on the rain gutter, and then get all the edges cleaned up where any squish out of the panel bond occurs, and then epoxy prime it. So the next I might have a few videos between now and then, but to show progress, but we are really starting to get close. Thanks for your time. Hello. What a day. So yesterday we were talking about door gaps. Today we're finishing door gaps. Got this door off. If you remember, all the gaps were done on the top side. I just had the bottoms to do all the way around. I'm working on that one right now, and I'll show you what I did or where I'm at. This one, we can see it looks good because I have magic marker on it. Okay, you can see the gap is good there. 1/4 inch is right on the edge. This one's just a little bit above the edge. And so I pulled a magic marker line. See, he's just too close. He's like a 1/16 away there, and you can start to see the light. See? So we need to trim him up. And the rear door, when I skinned them, I measured, but with all the welding and everything else, and gosh only knows what's going on. So here, these are done. They turned out really good. Got a nice even gap, 1/4 inch on the bottom, 3/8, 1/4 on the center gap, 3/8 on the rear gap, 3/16 on the rear gap, both sides, and 1/4 inch. Fender, everything really, or the wheel arch, everything looking really good. Continuing to get excited because it's been a very productive weekend. So on here, just like that driver's door, so I pulled my tape line on here, took the cutoff wheel, zipped them right off, and followed. Did 3 inches or so, tack, 3 inches, tack, as I'm burning the tape off, but tack, and just keep on going and cutting and going. And you can see, like for example here, in here, I'm getting a little more penetration because the skin's coming apart. So I'm holding the skin together and tacking, but only taking 3 inches off at a time. And where there's skin remaining, I still ran the bead continuous because it's easier to run the bead continuous, get some penetration, and have at least the material thickness in down here when I'm done filing. So I am filing the door. Get the high spots off, file it, get it perfectly level. I know that from this body line, I'm exactly 20 inches to the bottom, so I can measure down just for a set of checks. I mean, if I'm 20 and 1/32 or whatever, but I got a perfectly straight line, I'm not gonna screw around. But the point being is to get this nice and straight, get it 20 inches from that trim line, and finish it out. Wonderful day. Well, I accomplished the goal. This side we already saw. He's done. Gaps are good. This side. Gaps are good. I pulled it off of the lift. Sitting on 4x4, so that's what it would look like. That's what it would look like 4 inches off the ground, but we're not going to really work for 4 inches. I was going to measure the height to the top of the roof here real quick. What do we got here? So, looking like 54 and a half, well, probably 54 inches. 54 inches. So if I can keep it under 60, that should be easy, right? That should be easy to do. Keep it under 60. That gives me, what, 6 more inches? Yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah, easy. So now I get to get it ready for sandblast and what? Oh, and epoxy prime and all that stuff, and then tear it all apart again to lower it and get her wheeling. What is the top of the wheelhouse? That's probably a more accurate dim. Okay, so we're looking at what, 19. So realistically, you need about 4 inches. 15 on a 15 on a let's just say a 28-inch tire. Half 28, 14, or 30-inch tire would be 15. Yeah, so we'd have to come up 15, huh? 15. Oof, that's too much. 54 and 15, 59, 69 inches. Well, we're going to have to work with it. 59 inches. I don't know if I want to go that high. I don't know. It's all in the look anyway. It's all in the how it looks. 59. 59. What is 59? Grab that tape measure. 59. No, 69, huh? 15, 69. Yeah, 69. No, that's the size of the truck, for crying out loud. I don't know where my math is at. 50, yeah. Smaller tires. 28s, 26s. But you got to fill out the wheelhouse. Well, end of a weekend, back to work tomorrow morning. And hopefully within the next couple of videos, you'll see it in epoxy primer. In this case, what did I get? I got the dinosaur primer. I don't know what color it is. I haven't opened the box yet. I have to look at my orders. But making progress. Well, here we are. We got the car off the lift on some bed rollers, but I mean, at least I can move it around. I had some those yellow ones on there, but they're sheet metal rollers, and they just, the front of the car, just because that 2x4 is on a little bit of an angle, it just raked them. So right now what I'm doing is I want to get it ready for sandblast, and I just checking it over. What I don't like is, okay, you see when the door closes, it's lined up nice. Everything looks pretty as far as alignment. But when I'm gonna try to do this with one hand, but see that? And then I open the hinge. I don't want that. And that's a function of the hinge. It's a wide hinge. It supports the door just fine. But there's too much. Yeah, there's too much. I don't like that. Structurally, I'm not that concerned about it, but it just doesn't feel right. So what I've decided to do today, and been basically spending the morning doing, is making a hinge. It's a little piece of 1x2. I've welded the pin in on here. Piece of angle iron, so that I can get the hinge point, which is right there, on the same plane as the bottom hinge point by making a pocket. So I'll make the pocket in the door. That'll be on the interior side of the jamb. The door will open and follow the bottom hinge. Now, I've established all of this based on the dimensions that I used there. It's 1 inch. The hinge is 1 inch in from the jamb, so on and so forth. And, you know, being that the doors are all on perpendicular elements, right? It's perpendicular all the way down the post. Perpendicular, what do I mean? It's straight all the way down. The car was built on 90-degree angles, relatively speaking. As close as I could get in the 30s. So now this should go in. I'll find its location by opening and shutting the door, establish the dimensions here, and then copy all the way through. So in this case, on the post here, it'll be going into the top, and it's going to strap to this frame like that. It'll be painted, more than likely body color. I'm chamfering it for similar screws to what I'm using in here, torque screws. It will be on the show side, unless I, do something else with the, the picture frame follows this. This has got a radius for the picture frame that goes into the door for the window channels, but this is exposed. And I don't know, I might like the way it looks. I might put something over the top of it. But at this point, I want that, the rigidity, I want that to be rigid. So that's what I'm working on today before I go and start sandblasting it. Okay, here we are. Kind of gonna show everybody the assembly process of these rear hinges. So basically, I took a regular door hinge and I just cut that section out of it. You can see a little bit of the paint on it. This was a used door hinge, but they're heavy duty for metal, commercial metal or glass doors. And I took a piece of 3/16 strap, bent it 90 in the press, and then welded it to the backside, and then came in and welded the corners. I welded the edges just to create penetration and prevent moisture from getting in there, and then just ground them smooth. Now, the pin, I made this pin. I had one heavy duty pin. These are standard duty from older doors, but they're from heavier doors, but they're not as thick. These are about 1/4 of an inch, 0.251. These are 0.27. And so I had to turn this one down, and I turned down a grade 8 bolt to do that. You can see a little bit of a hint of the threads there, but that's fine because it's long. I'm cutting that end off. This is the end going in. And then the finished result winds up being like that. I'm going to put a washer on the bottom, so this will go on that door. Mirror image it. Put a washer on the bottom, harden washer on the bottom, like that.
set this in one-handedly like that, and then drive the pin in. Then I'll weld it flush, cut it flush, weld it, and then grind it flush. It just needs retention so it doesn't move. And then when this sits in the door, this will set in there, and voila. Okay, that's all there is. There's just a small amount of schlop like there would be in any door pin, so it would cause, you know, what is that? You know, maybe 1/8 to 3/16 on the outside. Anyway, and then that'll mount to the top of the door. Again, got the driver's door done. Working on the passenger door, cutting the pockets. This is where I cut the pocket, stick it into the frame. This is sticking out, strapped, bolted, if you will, to the top of the door. Recessed for here. The show side is like that. Will be painted. Flush screw. And voila. There you have it.